Hey everybody. I've been thinking about making a video like this for a long time, but just never did it. Don't know why. Guess I just never felt like doing it till now, but here we go. I wanted to share my coming out experience, story, whatever you want to call it, because I know when I was still in the closet thinking about coming out, I went to YouTube and found lots of videos of people just like me sharing their stories, and they actually helped quite a bit. And so I know that there's already a lot out there, but I figured, what's one more? Why not? So, my story goes all the way back to 1998. Yeah, 98. I was in kindergarten, and I already knew at that point that there was something different about me because I had a crush on this boy in my class. But for some reason, I don't know why, it didn't seem weird. I don't think I even knew what gay was when I was 5 years old, so it was just like, oh, this kid, he's so cute, but like obviously I didn't tell anybody. And yeah, it was weird. But yeah, so I guess I like after that year, I don't really think I thought about it anymore. It just kind of like the idea of it just vanished, and it was just I don't know. I just tried to fit in and be a normal person. And then I feel like there was a time in elementary school when I liked girls, or I thought I did. I don't know. I didn't have any sexual attraction for anybody because I was a kid, and yeah. So I think I was just kind of doing what I knew society was, and I was just like, oh, girls, yay! I want to date girls. That's what everybody else wants to do. But like, it didn't really mean anything to me. And I think I had two girlfriends. One was for like one day, and then I broke up with her. And then another one was for a weekend, and then she broke up with me. So it was short lived, but whatever. So yeah, not a lot else really happened in elementary school. And then when I got to 7th grade, probably, it was when I started looking more into the idea of like guys. But still, I don't know how. It was just, I think it was just so ingrained into my head that it was wrong that I never even thought. It literally never occurred to me that I was gay. It seemed so normal that I was like attracted to guys and didn't want anything to do with girls, but for some reason in my head I was still like, oh, no, I'm straight. Can't be gay. That's not a thing. I don't know. It was weird. The things when you're in the closet that you tell yourself, you'd be amazed. But yeah. And so then that was pretty much my mindset all throughout the rest of high school. I never dated any girls. I never dated any guys. I never tried to. It just, I don't know. I just never thought about it. I was just being myself and not really doing anything. And then when I went to college, so my freshman year, was when I like met gay people for the first time, because back at home, really small town, there's not really any at all. So I don't know. I didn't know anybody. And so I guess as I made more gay friends when I was in college, I was like, okay, this is a real thing. This is interesting. And then I just thought about it more and more and more and more. And I thought about myself, and I was just like, crap, I think I'm gay. Oh, dang, that sucks. That's horrible. And it was literally, it was like the hardest thing ever for me to accept. Like, I remember I was sitting in my bed, and it just like hit me. And I went and I looked in my bathroom mirror. I just like stared myself in the face, and I was just like, Michael, you are gay. And I was just like, oh, really? Come on, and seriously? But it was just like, okay, I've accepted it. And so this was probably, no, I think that this was like middle of November of my freshman year, so it was like November 2011. And so then I was like, okay, I am. I know that I definitely am sure. I don't want to keep this in any longer. I need to tell somebody. Like, it just, I can't keep it to myself. I'm not that kind of person. And so I was like, okay, I'll tell my sisters and my parents over Christmas break, because I want them to know before anybody else does. Because I was like, I feel like I don't know, that's just how I want it to be. For me, it was like, I feel like they have the right to know. I wanted my family to know before, and my friends knew before any random people. It was like family first. And I was like petrified because I have a super, super, super religious family. My sister's not as much as my parents, but still. And so it was December 18th, 3 days before my 19th birthday. I was home for Christmas break, and I remember texting my sister, my youngest sister, they're all older than me, but my youngest sister, Chelsea, texting her while she was at work, and I was just like, hey, can I talk to you later? And she was like, yeah, I get off work at 11, like, do you want me to text you or whatever? And I was just like, yeah, sure. And so my parents had already fallen asleep at that point, thankfully. And then she texted me when she got done with work. It was probably like 11:30, and I was just like, hey, can I call you? And she was like, yeah, is everything okay? Like, what's wrong? And I was just like, no, we're good. I just want to chat. And so I called her, and I was just like, how's it going? What's going on? Just making casual conversation. And then she was like, what's wrong? Like, you sound weird, whatever. And I was just like, well, I gotta tell you something. It's kind of hard for me to say. You might already know. I don't know. But it's really hard for me to say, like I just said. And I'm scared of how you're gonna react. And I just, yeah. And she was like, Mike, what is it? Like, you can tell me anything. And so I was just like, Chels, I'm gay. And then bawling. Just started bawling my eyes out. Crying harder than I've ever cried in my entire life. And, like, I don't cry ever for anything. Like, that's not the, I don't know, I just, like, don't have emotions. But I was bawling my eyes out. And she was just like, Mike, no, it's fine. Like, calm down, it's okay. Like, I still love you. There's nothing wrong. Like, it's okay. And I remember I was just freaking out, like, crying my eyes out, like, why me? This isn't fair. Like, out of all the people in our entire family, why do I have to be the one that's gay? This is, like, my life is horrible. Like, I hate this. It's not fair. I just couldn't stop saying how unfair it was and how upset I was about it. And she was just like, don't cry. It's okay. Don't cry. Like, I love you. Everyone's still gonna love you. It's okay. You don't need to worry about it. Like, just try to calm down. It'll be okay. And I was just like, all right. Okay, cool. And so then that was the end of that one. I was like, okay, one down, two sisters to go. So then I called my middle sister, Kayla, and I said pretty much the same thing that I said to Chelsea. I was just like, hey, I want to tell you something, but I'm afraid to say it, but it needs to be said or whatever. And then I was just like, all right, I'm gay. And then once again, bawled my eyes out. Just as hard as I did for Chelsea. I was just crying and crying and crying like a little baby. And she reacted a little differently than Chelsea did. She was like, I mean, they were all okay. Everybody was okay with it. She was like, it's okay, like, don't cry. But I don't know, she's always been the more, like, I don't know, hard on me sister, where she was just like, alright, calm down, like, it's not that big of a deal, like, you'll be okay, it's whatever, just don't hit on my boyfriend. And I was just like, okay, alright, thanks Kayla. So then I moved on to my oldest sister, Bethany, and by this point it was like 1 a.m., and she was pissed because I called her and woke her up when she had to get up at like 6 a.m. for work the next day. And so she was being all mean to me, and she's like, what do you want? What do you need? What is it? I'm trying to sleep. You woke me up. And I was just like, will you calm down? I need to tell you something important. And so then she started freaking out. She's like, what happened? Are mom and dad okay? Like, what's going on? And I was just like, no, calm down. It has nothing to do with anybody. This is me. I need to tell you something. And she's like, well, what is it? And I was just like, wow, for Pete's sake, I want to tell you that I'm gay. I was freaking out. And then, as soon as I said that, bawled my eyes out again, 3 times, one night, crying. It was just awful. Couldn't deal with it. It was just bad. But then she calmed down after I told her. She stopped being mean, and she started being really cool. And she was like, no, like, it's okay. Like, I still love you. Everyone still loves you. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, she moved to Pittsburgh, and she made all these friends and knows all this stuff, and she's socially with it or whatever, so she's cool. And she's like, no, like, things are a lot different here in the city, like, small town of Emporium, like, nobody gets it, but, like, here it's fine, it's so normal, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, okay, cool. And so then that was done. I was like, yes, I did it. I came out. I told all 3 of my sisters, this is awesome. And then I was like, okay, I need to tell my mom and dad before I can tell anybody else. And so I decided that I was going to try to tell them before the end of Christmas break, which was like the middle of January. And I was like, I guaranteed, I was like, I'm going to do it. I will do it. Didn't do it. Couldn't. thought about it, but I was like, no, if I cried that badly for my sisters, it'll be 10 times worse for my parents, because I was literally freaking out about how they were going to react, because my parents are seriously, like, the most religious people I've ever met in my entire life. They're, like, hardcore, like, Catholic, yay Jesus, which is cool. I love Jesus too, but they're just like, I was seriously, I was afraid. I was like, I know they love me, but, like, what if they love Jesus too much that they just want to, like, kick me out of the house forever? I don't know. And so I was like, I just can't do it. And so I waited, and then I came back to school, and then it was February 13th. A few other things happened in between this time that, like, helped me lead to the decision that I didn't tell them, but that's not important. February 13th, I remember I wanted to tell them the weekend before that, but it was my mom's birthday was on the 11th, and I was like, I don't want to ruin her birthday, so I'll just wait. And so on the 13th, I emailed them, because my mom and I used to email back and forth all the time. So I emailed them, and I was just like, hey, just want to let you know about this, but I want you to love me. I don't want you to kick me out of the house. Like, I just, all I want to know is that you still love me, and blah, 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 blah. And I told them in the email, I was like, you can call me in the morning, but only if you're not going to be crying. And that was it. And so then I woke up to a text from my dad at like 6 a.m. And he just said, like, of course we still love you, silly. And I was just like, good. Awesome. Great. Huge weight lifted from my shoulders. I was so relieved. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, cool. That's at least 1 out of 2. That's good enough for me. I was so happy. I was like, okay, cool, thanks, love you too. And then at like 7:30, my mom called me, crying, just sobbing. She was just like, I answered the phone, I was just like, hello, and she's just crying, and all she could say was, she was just like, I love you so much, and nothing will ever change that, while crying. And I was just like, okay, good. Thought I told you not to call me if you're crying, but okay, it's fine, I'll let this one slide. And then she proceeded to ask me some questions, and she was like, did Lady Gaga do this to you? No. No, Lynn. Lady Gaga did not turn me gay. Sorry. And she was like, is it because you played with Barbies when you were younger? And I was just like, number 1, thanks for reminding me, but number 2, no, that's not why. If anything, I played with Barbies because of it, but hey, it's in the past. And so I was like, nothing made me gay, Mom. Like, this is me, this is how I've always been. I've known for kind of, sort of a while. Like, it's just, that's how I was born. That's me. I've always been that way, so just calm down. And, so she kind of calmed down, and it was cool. And then she asked me if she could take off work so she could drive down to come see me at school, and I was like, no. I swear to God, I will hide if you do that. You're not going to see me. And so she was like, okay, fine, I just don't know how I can go to work. And I was just like, literally calm down. This is not that big of a deal. If anything, this should be worse for me, not you, but hey, it's fine. Drama queen. And, yeah, what happened next? Oh, yeah. And so then, later that day, I told some of my really close friends from school. And then the next day, on Valentine's Day, I told all of my close friends, like, from home. Like, I texted them or called them or whatever. And everybody was surprisingly really supportive. Like, it was a great experience. Nobody hated me or anything. They were all like, yes, we accept you, we love you, it's fine. And then the next day, February 15th, I put it on Facebook so everybody could see. I was just like, hey, for any of you who haven't figured out by now, I'm gay. Cool. And I was just like, let the floodgates open. And there were like over 100 people who liked it. All these people were commenting and saying like, so proud of you, like, I love you so much, like, that's great, like, you're awesome, blah, 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 all this cool stuff. And I was just like, yay, I did it. Oh my gosh, I did it. This is awesome. And so I did it. I came out of the closet. And nothing had ever felt better in my entire life than doing that. And everything, I don't know, everything was just so amazing. Like, things with my parents were still different for a while. Like, even still, I don't know. I don't even like saying the word gay around my mom. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't know. She tries to talk about it sometimes, and I'm just like, please don't. But yeah, they've grown a lot with the subject in the past almost 3 years now, since I told them. Like, my mom used to never talk about anything, never be in support of anything, but nowadays I don't know, I don't know, she's just come a long way. I don't know how to explain it, but they're better, so it's cool. But yeah. Sorry, that was a really long video, and I probably said 5,000 times, and it was probably really bad quality. But whatever. That's my story. If it helps one person, then I'm happy. So if you made it through the 16 minutes, congrats, and thanks for watching.